Hello, just wanted to do a quick video recap so you guys can watch this whenever you want. So, as I mentioned before, the incentives that are available, the government had all set up because we need more energy being produced. So, the incentives still apply. You can still lock them in, even though Trump's cutting them out for new roof, switchgear, solar, EV chargers. So, those are still available. This customer did 5 different projects with us because they didn't want to write a check and they wanted to take advantage of the incentives that are available. And so he used the power company money and used the incentives to offset the cost. So he did it for financial reasons. So $1.9 million project, 1.8 almost worth of incentives. The incentives covered all but 119,000, and he saved 73,000 per year if rates stay the same. And using that power company funding and the incentives, the project never went negative. It was up. The worst it was being up $8,500. So we find the incentives so you don't have to. And we've been around since 1985, only doing commercial. And the power company funding is still available, so no budget needed. And you would submit a couple years financials. And then once it's approved, the power company funds the roof, the solar, EV chargers. They fund all of it, and there's no payments until the project's fully completed. So if you did a project, started it this year, we would maybe guess and say, okay, it should be done by next spring. Let's make your first payment August of next year. And that's when those payments would come due. And you'd have plenty of time to budget for them, and you would get the incentives on them as well. So the largest incentive is a tax credit, 30 to 40% tax credit. But in your case, they actually mail you a check for doing the project. So right now, Chicagoland went from 30% to 40% because it's been designated an energy community. So you would miss out on the depreciation though, because you guys aren't paying taxes, but you do get 40% of the cost of that roof back in one big check in the year that it's been completed. So Trump added this depreciation thing that doesn't really help you guys, but the 40% tax credit is going away after 2027. So, but we can lock in these projects by getting the ball rolling. It's called a safe harbor program. So we can do that, but we can't wait too long. Our manufacturers on the panels are getting asked because you have to order a certain amount of material in order for it to qualify. So everyone's asking for that material right now, all those panels, and then probably completing them. Then it gives you till the end of 2027 to get it completed. So the state program's still available, the solar renewable energy credits. They pay you for 15 years if you own it or use the power company funding. And pardon that interruption. And we use Bloomberg certified tier 1 equipment that actually gives a 30-year production warranty. So the warranty on what we tell you is it's going to produce will produce that for 30 years. These guys did a project. They did the roof prior to doing solar, so they missed out on the 40% tax credit available on the cost of the roof because they did them as separate instead of one combined project. So the Park Ridge Hinckley Garage, smaller project, 77 panels, one inverter. There's no holes in the new roof. It's a weighted ballasted system. And in this case, we included the cost of the roof on this one. So the roof, solar combo, it's a 45 kilowatt system, gets about 21% of their energy used. And we put in 47,143 kilowatt hours. That gives you 33 CO2 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions reduced each year. And then the green box is the calculation on saving the $5,600 per year. And you do get that check back, this $84,000 in the year that you finish it, and then you get another $41,000 from the state. So roof and solar funded $374,000. You get $126,000 worth of incentives. So you end up getting the roof and solar with 247,000 not covered by incentives, and then you save 5,600 per year. So that does have kind of a rough ROI on that, even using the power company money, because you're only saving a small amount. And projects like Mercury Plastics, they use a lot of energy and they had a good sized roof. So the ROI is much quicker on those. So the other one we presented a year ago, the Centennial location, we couldn't put as many panels as we'd like there because of different layouts, and you have to have a certain amount of room around all the equipment that's up there and around the bordering walls. So 130 panels, 2 inverters, and this one saves you $7,700 per year, and it produces 77,000 kilowatt hours guaranteed for 30 years. So this one, roof and solar funded, $158,425 minus $72,000 in incentives, leaves $86,000 not covered by incentives, and then saving that $77,000 per year. So you do get $63,000 back from this, a check from this tax credit in the year that you complete it, for the year you complete it, and then another $72,000 as time goes on from the state SREC program. So here's how this one cash flows. So it has a 5-year ROI, and then if you look at the blue column, and so that's a little different. And then we did look at, so we did not propose a roof on this, but you guys, if you're interested in doing the roof, we can do a funding program with the power company where they can fund the roof and solar, and you get all the incentives to offset the cost. This one's a little bigger, 713 panels, 6 inverters. What we proposed without a roof last time was just the zero cost solar, where you don't pay anything. You just get a locked in low rate for a 20-year window. It doesn't cost you anything, but right now the folks that were quoting these rates, this 4.6 cents that they quoted a year ago, we're not able to get that low anymore. They want to do bigger projects, so they're saving their money and giving the lower rates for bigger projects than this. So if you are interested in this one, or if you need a roof in this one, let us know. We can get a roof quote, and or you can give us a roof quote, and whichever one you choose, we can combine it with the incentives and show you what you get back on that. So if you did have a roof already, then we can do a version of this, but the rate might not be as good. So it does take quite a while to get these projects going. The worst is that we have to wait for ComEd to finish an interconnection agreement. We can't do a thing, order materials or anything until we get that agreement. And they're getting a little bit overwhelmed right now. They were previously taking 6 to 16 weeks to get that approval back, and we need that to do anything. So now more and more people are going after these incentives, so they're getting backed up. So we have no control on how long that takes. So we put in here 25, 26 week planning, another 8 to 10 weeks construction, and then post-construction 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if you did want to do a roof, we would get that roof going right away, but solar system might not be turned on until next spring, summer. So we did have a project, Claas Distributing. It was a pretty expensive project with a 5-year ROI, and they were a little unsure of how it was going to work, but he gave me a little testimonial.
About a year and a half later, we can say never paid a dime for anything. Got over $2 million worth of solar equipment on the roof, and we're going great. Jim and his team at Revenue Task Force did a great job finding money everywhere between incentives and grants and rebates, tapping into federal money, state money. The energy companies are offering an incentive. So it was really, really a great program. Really happy with what we did here.
And thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions or you want different updates on any of those proposals, let us know. Have a great day.